Brian Tatler, how's it going with you and Diamond Head these days?
Well, we're really busy this year. Things have turned into a busy time for Diamond Head. We had a couple of years where we were quite quiet, like in 2008 and 2009. We had some gigs and stuff, but this year it all seems to be coming together. We first of all we got offered Saulnier in the UK, and then Saulnier France that we did with Metallica and the Big Four and all that. It was fantastic. Then we got offered 2 dates in Canada. Toronto and Montreal, and then we sorted out this American tour through a booking agent in the US, and so we're shortly going to be doing a 17-date US tour, starting in Seattle on August the 15th. So it's all looking pretty good at the moment.
Do we have anything new lined up for, a release, an album, some sort?
No, we haven't really been doing any new material. The last album came out in 2007, and that's pretty much the last thing we've done. We've just done bits of music and things, and I've got a little Pro Tools rig, Pro Tools LE at home. So I still put ideas down and stuff for something, whether it be a Diamond Head album or some other project, but. We haven't really got a chance to get any vocals on it yet and move forward with it. So usually it seems to be now when we get together, it's to rehearse for some tour or a festival or something like that, and we tend to rework an old tunes from time to time. Like we just put Dead Reckoning back into the set, and we haven't done that since 1982. So. That all takes time, really, and you end up running out of time trying to do any new songs. That kind of goes out the window a bit.
On your take on recordings like today, what do you think of the technology compared to what you used to record with?
Well, I think the editing is what I really like about today's technology. I think it's cheaper as well. Studios are cheaper, and you can do things at home in fantastic digital qualities, 24-bit, that you could never do. Years ago, the best you could get was like a little 4-track, like a cassette, like a Tascam, or you might have a TIAC reel-to-reel 4-track if you've got the money. They were like about £1,000 or something. And that's 4 tracks, whereas I've got Pro Tools LE, which cost me about 250 quid, and it's 32-track digital. And you can edit, you can chop arrangements. So I think it's awesome for that, the way you can rearrange a song in the box, in the PC. And you don't have to, years ago, if you decided to change the arrangement, you'd either have to re-record the whole song, or you'd have to get your razor blade out. And now, of course, you just do it with a mouse and try, and if you don't like it, you can undo and things like that. So I think for that purpose, it's absolutely brilliant. And the way people, you can quantize and move things and put things into tune and into time. Things that you could never have done, 25 years ago. And I still think some of the best records ever made, though, were made in the 70s, and probably some in the 80s. So it's not like the quality's outstripped some of the great bands or anything, or the great albums. I still think you need a great band to go in the studio. But I think probably the technology does help and probably saves time.
Now, your amps and guitars throughout the years, have you stayed true to certain amps and certain guitars for recordings and live performances?
Yes, I've pretty much stuck with Gibson Les Paul guitars since probably early 80s. I used to use, I'm known for playing a white Flying V, which I've still got and I've had for 30 years. So I used to record everything with that. And then I started using Sean's Les Paul, which is a Les Paul standard, on certain songs. And I found that was really good and really like a reliable, it would stay in tune and the intonation was good on it. And I ended up buying a Les Paul Custom myself in 1983, and I kind of switched from the V to the Les Paul. And and then I became a kind of a Les Paul player after that. And I still play Les Paul now. I've got a couple of standards. I prefer standards to customs now. And amp-wise, I've been playing an Engel Screamer 50 for the past 4 years, I think. Before that, I had a dual rectifier for a year or so. And then before that, it was always Marshalls. I've had quite a few Marshalls over the years, like, you know, the A800 and the JCM 800, you know, and some of the older, you know, heads. That's all there was, really, at one point. Mm-hmm. There was Marshall, there was Laney, there was Hiwatt, but most people seem to use Marshalls. And so nearly everything I've recorded has been I used a Marshall amp with, and a Marshall 4x12 as well.
Now you find that the Engel amps, matches the same Marshall type feel, or maybe possibly better.
Yeah, if anything, I'm always looking for the ultimate Marshall sound. Some of my favourite albums with, you know, guitar sounds probably recorded with Marshalls. So I'm always looking to emulate the perfect Marshall. But it seems nowadays I'm looking for more gain. Like usually when I plug into an 800 now, it hasn't got enough gain for me. So I want an amp that sounds a bit like a JCM 800, but with more gain. So the Engel, you can kind of get a Marshall sound out of it if you play with it enough, but you can also have gain, and occasionally you can get it out of, like, you can find good amps. You know, I used a JCM 2000 when we did this concert in Italy, and it was just a really good sounding one, and it sounded, much better than mine, for example, and so. It's great when you find a good amp, and it gives you the sound you know, in your head, if you like, and you think you can perform better. I think it gives you a bit more confidence in your style, in your playing, and also when we're in Montreal, they'd got a dual rectifier for me to use, you know, just hired, and that sounded fantastic, much better again than the one I had a couple of years ago. And if mine would have sounded this good, I'd have kept it, and I'd still be using it today. But it just had so much, you know, it had the kind of Marshall sound, but more balls and more power, and it was amazing. And I had to let it go back to the hire company, you know, and go catch the plane home.
What do you think somebody like Jimi Hendrix would do with an amp of today compared to what he had at the time?
Yeah, it'd be great if Hendrix had stayed alive. He would have been the cutting edge still, probably, you know, using the technology. I don't know. It'd be all kinds of Hendrix signature amps and signature guitars, and, you know, I'm sure Hendrix would have continued to, blaze a path through the technology and inspire. Who knows? He's still one of the most important and influential guitarists of all time. I still don't know how he got some of those sounds and effects. And if you try and play, I mean, a song like Voodoo Child, if you try and get those sounds, even now with all the equipment that's available, you can't quite get it because it's in his fingers, isn't it? Really,
right?
That's the magic. You know, it's the player. It's a bit like trying to play like Eddie Van Halen or Jeff Beck. You know, you could kind of watch them and get the same sort of amp, but it don't sound the same. I can't make it sound exactly like they do.
Let's say with effects, and also, do you look into different effects, like for your style playing?
I'm not big on effects. I sometimes use more when we're recording, because you want a different sound for maybe a different section coming in and a different part. And I think also I don't like to have a lot of effects on stage. It starts getting confusing if you've got too many. Mm-hmm. You know, it's fine for people like The Edge. You know, they're brilliant at it, and that's become their thing. But I like to have pretty much just a standard, you know, power chord guitar sound, a rhythm sound, and then I like a good lead sound, which has probably got delay on it. and then I'll have a nice clean sound. But I'm not too bothered about phases and flanges and, I've got a wah-wah, I've got a Vox wah, which I use, sparingly. I don't like overused wah-wah, where the solos on every track and things like that. It gets a bit boring after a bit. It seems to cover up a multitude of sins, I think, the wah. So I try, a lot of my favourite players don't use wah-wah very often, so I try. I don't know. It's just my taste, I suppose. I don't seem to go down that route, where everything's got wah-wah on it.
And Brian, you got a book out, Am I Evil?
Yes.
Autobiography. How's that doing?
Well, it's nearly sold out. I printed 500 hardback copies, and they've nearly all gone. In fact, I'm down to 20 copies now. So once they've all gone, that'll be it. It'll be sold out, and I don't know what I'll do next. Whether I'll do a reprint or do maybe a paperback, or somebody's just suggested do an online version or an ebook version or something. So maybe that, but I'm just glad that I sold them all, and it's been well received, and people seem to like it, and I'm proud that I've managed to achieve putting it down into print and getting the story out there.
Yes, I have a book also, and being able to sell it is a good thing, and you've done it.
Yeah, I'm happy that it's done, 500 copies. I didn't set my sights on it being a bestseller or anything. It's fine for me.
The internet would be the next way to do it, Everybody seems to be on it.
Or an ebook. I'm thinking about that now as we're running out of copies. And you're bound to get some people say, I can't get hold of your book. What can we do? And so something will spur me into action.
Another thing too, let's go, let's say writing a song like Am I Evil, the classics that Metallica, made really famous, and everybody today knows them. What do you think of those songs today?
I still like them. I'm still very proud of Am I Evil. I think it's a well-written song. It's got a lot of dynamics, and I think songs like that where, it starts at one tempo and then changes to another and then another, and it's 7 minutes, 40 seconds long. It's very hard to write a song like that and keep the public's interest. And I don't seem to be able to do it anymore. Nowadays, when I write songs, they end up being kind of more of a standard format, maybe 4 minutes or something like that, 5 minutes. But I'm still very proud of that song, and I always enjoy playing it live. And it's great to have that reaction, and it's great that it always goes down well live. So, same for the other songs, the Prince and It's Electric and Helpless and Lightning to the Nations. They're, I never think, oh no, we've got to play that one again. It's always, this is a good one. This should go down well.
I'm sure you get plenty of airplay, worldwide with these songs still, either by Metallica or Diamond Head.
Airplay as in radio play, do you mean?
Yes, radio play.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much of it's played on the radio. A lot of it's probably live. I'm a member of PRS, so I see where it does get played, and I think a lot of it's concerts, and of course the Metallica cover versions, make a lot more money than a lot of the Diamond Head songs that haven't been covered by Metallica, shall we say?
Yeah.
So they make the most money, those four.
With a system like Sirius Radio, the satellite, they're mostly played every day, guaranteed.
Oh, right. Well, I don't listen. All I listen to in the UK seems to be Radio 2, and I think I've heard it like once on there in 30 years. So,
wow.
So I'm not used to it being on the radio. So maybe I'm listening to the wrong station.
Maybe. Brian's been a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, okay. Nice to talk to you as well, Jason. Thanks for the call.
Okay, you have a good summer.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye.